That's the fight that everybody want to see.
Yeah.
I want to do it.
Do you respect him as like when he's like, I got a couple fights left, I'm at the end, I'm only trying to get mega fights, so
I understand it, but don't lie or kept to the net and make it seem like I had the opportunity to fight you and I didn't. I never did. You know what I'm saying? And then that one time that I did, we said they called and we said we never heard nothing else back about it. So
right.
I mean, I respect it though. I mean, get your money. You know what I'm saying? Do your thing. But don't be capping on the net.
Man, great. Bud always been like that. Without a question, solid. You know what I'm saying? Solid.
You think there's anything left for him, Coach, or is it time for Bud to move on? Or
I'm trying to figure out who he gonna fight next.
160, you can see him fight going
I wouldn't do nothing crazy. He looked at excellent. Hey, he looked at excellent.
Is there anybody the most from
No, I'm trying to figure out what their team gonna do next. I want to see what's
He's
next.
talking about 160, Coach. I mean, the only thing down there is maybe like a middleweight tournament, 2 fights undisputed, something like that. But if not that, then what for Bud?
Who?
Well, they were talking about Jaron Ennis going to 160, possibly Jaron Ennis going to 160.
If he go to 160, then we got another mega fight.
You think that's a mega fight?
I don't know that yet, but I'm saying in the boxing fans that know boxing would say that's another mega fight.
When news broke that Terence "Bud" Crawford and Jaron "Boots" Ennis were finally circling each other for a real negotiation, the entire boxing world stopped. This isn't some fantasy matchup fans talk about on Twitter. This is the closest we've ever been to witnessing the one fight people have been begging for ever since Crawford completed boxing by jumping up to 168 and taking every single belt off Canelo Alvarez. And now, according to multiple insiders, the number being discussed is somewhere near $300 million, a number only reserved for era-defining matchups, a number only used when the sport knows the world will stop to watch. So today, we're breaking down why this fight is exploding across the boxing world, how we even got here, how Boots became the one man people call the new Crawford, and why this matchup might be the biggest test of Bud's entire career. Let's get into it. When Terence Crawford walked into the super middleweight division, people said he was pushing his luck. He was too small, too slow, too old. Canelo was the face of boxing. Canelo was too strong, too experienced, too powerful. And Crawford didn't just win, he outclassed him. He made it look like he had been fighting at 168 his entire life.
Crawford did amazing, he a legend, man, 3-time undisputed, you got to take his hat off to him. He went up 2 weight classes and dominated a legend, so my hat goes off to him and he's all respect.
Do you think Canelo is the same guy that he was before? You think he's completely falling off?
Canelo's Canelo, you know what I mean? Canelo's a legend, bro. You gotta, at the end of the day, whatever happened that fight, that don't diminish his career, his image. You feel me? I think right now, he's at that time where he took an L, but he ain't took an L, you know what I'm saying? He got paid and he a legend at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? So if he want to walk over in the sunset right now, his name, his last name is in the cement, you know what I'm saying? As one of the greatest Mexican fighters in the world.
I know it sounds a little bit crazy, but Crawford does have all the titles. You're a really big name. He's kind of in your way right now a little bit. Is that a fight where you're just like, me and him can get it on for sure?
Not for sure, definitely, you know what I'm saying? We don't duck no smoke. But, right now, I'm focused on my comeback fight, you know what I'm saying? I got to put my head down, whatever happened in my last fight is cool, but, that ain't dim my light at all, you know what I'm saying? I'm still a superstar, I'm still a star, I'm still the king of New York, man, I'm fly, I look good, I fight good, man, so, I'm excited for next year,
That night, Crawford did something fighters don't do anymore. He shocked the world without being the bigger man, without a weight advantage, and without needing catchweight clauses or tune-ups. He just showed up and beat the top guy in the division clean.
Who do you think's better out of those two, Crawford or Mayweather?
I think Crawford is better, bigger. He's actually he moved in weight class, and I would say Crawford is a better fight all around fighter. Mayweather's really good too, though. You can knock him as well. He's very talented. It would have been a tough fight, but I think Crawford would have had the edge over Mayweather because of the long arms and because he's bigger. You know what I'm saying? And he would have kept him at bay. It would have been hard for Mayweather to counter, maybe. But Mayweather's definitely a technician. I mean, like Crawford said, Mayweather has his era, and Crawford, this is his era.
After that, the problem became obvious. Crawford had no one left. He already handled Errol Spence. He already dismantled the best Mexican fighter of the decade. He already unified at 140. He already conquered 147. Then he took over 168. It was over. There were no real challengers until one name kept coming back. Jaron "Boots" Ennis, the undefeated monster who was running through everyone placed in front of him.
We've got to get him in the fights. We've got to get him undisputed at 47. He can move up. I want to see him fight Terence Crawford. You know, I mean, that's a fight that's been talked about, and Terence will only take that fight if it's big enough. I back Jaron "Boots" Ennis against anybody. And what a joy to be guiding this man's career.
This isn't a new idea. For years, fans begged for Crawford versus Ennis when both were at 147. The IBF even ordered the fight in 2023, but it never happened. Some said it was Crawford avoiding a young, hungry lion. Crawford said Boots had chances to make the fight happen and didn't take them. And once Bud moved on, fans thought the window was gone forever. But then Boots leveled up. And suddenly, people noticed something. Boots wasn't just winning. He looked like Crawford at 28.
I think the perfect weight for Boots is 160. I think he could go there now and be in his absolute prime. He'll be tight at 54 tomorrow. People think that when you move up in weight, all of a sudden it's easy. He's massive. He will 100% go to 168 at some point. So right there, you've got a 4-division championship. But I don't want him just to be a 4-division champion. I want him to be undisputed in those, because I think he's the natural progressor to Terence Crawford. I think he's of the same kind of ability as Terence Crawford. And what Crawford's done is amazing, because he was undisputed in 3 weight classes.
Yeah, so, you got to prove it in a ring.
Of course you have. It's very well me saying it. But you've got to prove it in a ring. But you've also, people know in boxing. So everyone's always known how good Crawford was. But it took him a long time to get the opportunities to prove it. We've got to make sure that we're not 36, 37, 38 when we're getting those opportunities. Because if Boots can get it at 29, 30, he's going to be around 34, 35. He lives a clean life. Do you know what I mean? I think this guy, I truly believe, I think he could be one of the all-time greats.
Analysts started calling him the new Crawford. Promoters began pushing the matchup again. And when Eddie Hearn came out and said there is only one realistic opponent for Crawford who could match him, the conversation exploded. Hearn said, "Tell me a fight other than Ennis versus Crawford that you would want to see. Boots isn't past his best. He isn't injured. He isn't worn out from 80 fights. He's 10 years younger than Crawford." He was basically saying, if Bud wants a real challenge, he has to fight Boots.
Just feel that Jaron Ennis against Terence Crawford is the fight. And that can be at 54, it can be at 60. You know, obviously we've got Lima to take care of first, but that for me is one of the great, crossover fights, because Boots is the changing of the guard guy, and Crawford's the guy that's been there and done it all and just proved, that he's still very much in his prime.
Both men have been sending signals for months. Ennis has openly said Crawford is the face of boxing after beating Canelo. He's even shown respect, calling Bud one of the greatest fighters ever. But at the same time, he has made it very clear that he believes he is the one built to beat him.
Stay away from it. And by the way, there's this brother coming up, Molly. His name is Boots Ennis. This brother's special. You don't want to go in the ring against after that beating. Molly, it was so bad. I swear to y'all, I am not exaggerating. Yeah. You know how I got called.
Boots said Crawford is the face of boxing right now, but his tone said something different. Enjoy it while it lasts. Meanwhile, Crawford has been playful but sharp. He congratulated Boots after each win. He acknowledged his talent.
Now you got Boots Ennis in your weight class.
Definitely.
What do you think about him?
Oh, he's very, very talented. He's unproven, but he's very talented.
Yeah.
The eye test tells it all. He's got the it, but we haven't seen him against any elite fighter. We've never seen him tested. So until then, we just going to keep saying, oh, Boots, 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 until he meet that fighter that's going to test him.
Is that a fight that you would be interested in?
Nah, it just don't make sense right now in my career. Like I said, especially money-wise, don't nobody really know Boots, but
right.
I'm looking for bigger and better challenges like Canelo.
You're just looking for the big ones.
Yeah.
The big fish.
Yeah.
Fish fry.
Definitely. Definitely. Them the guys I'm looking for,
But anytime someone asked if Boots could beat him, Crawford smirked and said, "Great things come to those who wait." Translation: you aren't ready. But the moment Bud beat Canelo, something changed. Boots immediately called him out. Promoters started generating numbers. Networks started doing silent meetings.
Well, Boots and Crawford, that would be one of the biggest fights in history, man. You know what I mean? When it comes to styles, they both of them have beautiful styles, man. You know what I mean? They both switch, and they both can do it all. You know what I mean? Crawford will fight you. He just showed everybody he'll fight you too. Boots will fight you inside and outside. When you got heart like that, that's what you do. And Crawford does the same thing, so.
And names like Eddie Hearn, Tim Bradley, and Sean Porter began saying one simple thing: this is the only fight left for Bud. So, why are boxing pros and pundits calling Boots the new Crawford? People say this for a reason.
Who they are cancel out each other as far as height. You know, they both switch hitters, lift, and everything. All of that cancels out each other. So they are literally the same people pretty much. The only difference is Crawford done been in the big stage against big fighters so many times. And also with age, he didn't beat up his body, so his age is actually good. He got the grown man strength. He not just grown man strength, but he built on top of that. Like, look at him at 135. He was a little scrawny dude. He wasn't a big dude. Now look at him. He ripped up everything. He's strong. So I feel like he got everything, all the experience, all the knowledge. So I got to go with Crawford.
Boots is one of the rare fighters who has the same complete skill set Crawford has. He can switch from orthodox to southpaw without losing power. He counters with ridiculous timing. He throws punches you don't see coming. He's physically bigger, younger, longer, and he hits hard enough to keep anyone honest.
Who punches harder, Jaron Boots Ennis or Terence Bud Crawford? Jaron's shots seem to be more thumping and more like a whip, where they come out kind of wider. Jaron also twists his whole body behind each shot, gets a lot of leverage. Terence Bud Crawford's shots seem to be shorter, and he gets more of that shoulder snap. Terence Bud Crawford's punches are also placed very strategically. He uses his opponent's momentum against him and catches him coming in and has him leaning right into that shoulder shot. Remember, the punch going from point A to point B in the shortest distance is the goal that's trying to be achieved in all fighters. Mike Tyson made that an art. Boots and Bud both have a lot of knockouts, but who do you guys think hits harder between the two of them? Tell me in the comments.
Boots also has something fighters rarely have at 28. Patience. And here's where the hype became real. Crawford is aging. Boots is entering his prime. That's the storyline. Boots represents the next era. Crawford represents the greatest of this era.
Is he better than Floyd Mayweather?
To me, he is, because he challenges himself. So for me, don't get me wrong, Floyd ain't no bad fighter. Floyd is a hell of a sharp fighter, but I ain't gonna say a better fighter. I'm gonna say I just can appreciate it more because he challenges himself. You understand me? Floyd never challenged himself. So if you tell me who I want to see, Floyd or Terence, I want to see Terence, because Terence gonna challenge himself. Floyd may be a better fighter because Floyd is slick and Floyd really can fight. People, I don't underestimate Floyd's boxing ability. Floyd has great boxing ability. Floyd is one of the best ever, but Floyd just never challenged himself.
Crawford doesn't need money. He doesn't need belts. He doesn't need validation. He already became undisputed in 3 weight classes. He already beat the 2 biggest fighters of the generation. He already proved the world wrong. So why take Boots? One word: legacy. Crawford wants to retire as the undisputed greatest boxer of the modern era. Not compared to Canelo, not compared to Spence, compared to everyone. But when people say he never fought a young lion at his peak, it leaves a gap. Boots fills that gap perfectly. If Bud beats him, he shuts the entire sport down. He retires ranked above Mayweather, Pacquiao, and Canelo, according to many fans and analysts. That's why this fight makes sense for him.
I beat this guy, it's an excuse. I beat this guy, he's too young or whatever. So I'm never really gonna give my full respect until afterwards. Yes, you know, it's a lot of people that's changing their narrative. Like, man, y'all watching something great right now, and we not appreciating it. And it's sad to say that we waking up at the tail end of his career. You know, we really didn't realize it until now, when he's like doing extraordinary stuff, like going up 2 weight classes to fight the best fighter in that division, the #1 guy that's the face of boxing, you know. And the way that I handled that, people like, oh man, something had to be wrong. Canelo had to be washed, or Canelo just wasn't in it. I see people saying, oh, Turkey paid for Canelo to lose, you know. So I just think, you know, when you that much better than the competition, you know, people not going to give you credit until they sit down and look at it and just be like, man, that dude was good.
Boots is in the perfect position. He's undefeated, young, explosive, and finally gaining attention. But he knows he needs a marquee name. He needs a career-defining win. If he beats Crawford, he becomes the face of boxing instantly. Not next year, not after 3 more wins, the next day. And unlike most challengers, Boots isn't chasing Crawford out of desperation. He actually believes he's better. Every great fighter has one moment where the next generation steps up to test them. This might be Crawford's moment. The biggest risk is timing. Crawford is 38, Boots is 28.
And, you know, obviously we're here in Philadelphia, Boots Ennis, Eddie, a couple other people, you know, called Boots the natural successor to Terence Crawford, and obviously I know your relationship with him. Do you feel that high on Boots as well, or?
Hell yeah, I think Boots is a hell of a fighter. I don't know about the natural sensation, whatever that is to Terence Crawford. I think Boots is his own fighter, Terence is his own fighter, but I think they both hell of a fighters. I've been around Boots for years, and he's the truth.
And last one for me, I'll let you go. Obviously, everyone's talking about a potential fight, you and Teofimo. Is there any updates to that? I mean, is that something that you are looking towards?
Yeah, that's the fight I want. So, ain't no updates. I don't speak business until the deal is done, so nothing to talk about.
Crawford has been in wars. Boots hasn't taken damage. Crawford has fought the best. Boots has fought solid champions, but not legends. This creates the perfect storm. Crawford has the experience. Boots has the youth. And that dynamic creates an unpredictable fight. Boots can match Bud's style. Bud can expose Boots' inexperience. Both men can hurt each other. Both can outthink each other. This isn't Canelo, whose body started breaking down. This isn't Spence coming off a car crash. This is a fresh, hungry, prime monster who wants the throne. Boxing fans are split. Half of them believe Crawford washes Boots. The other half believes Boots is too big, too fast, too young. Some say it's Crawford's last great fight. Others say it's Boots' coming out party.
Do you think Ennis is the guy to give Crawford like trouble in there if they were ever to fight?
I think that would be a great fight. You know, the young hungry lion versus the legend. That would be a hell of a fight. Maybe 160. If it's a vacant title at 160, I think that they can make that happen for sure. I think it just has to make sense for both parties. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think if there's a vacant belt, Crawford's gonna want to be 6th division champion, and then he'll make Ennis move up to 160. I think they could do it at 160.
But everyone agrees on one thing. This is the best matchup in American boxing. Just 2 elite fighters at the top of their game.
That's a good fight. That's definitely up there. It's definitely up there. Probably at middleweight or something. That's like a vacant belt. That's definitely up there. That's definitely a big fight. Probably Shakur and Tank too, maybe. That's like right on the scene. But yeah, that's that. You might not be lying. That might be the biggest fight.
Multiple insiders say the negotiations are serious. Boots promoter Eddie Hearn is pushing hard. Netflix wants the fight. Both camps like the money, and Crawford hasn't turned it down.
Terence Crawford against Jaron Ennis, for me, is the best fight in American boxing. But it needs to be a payday for Crawford that would get him interested, because Crawford knows how good Boots is. And I'm not saying that Crawford thinks he's going to lose to Boots, but he knows that is a real fight. But for me, Boots is the new Crawford. We've just got to go out and get the fights to show how great he is.
Boots said this week he will fight Bud at any weight he wants. Translation, he's all in. And Crawford has already told reporters he wants one more massive fight before walking away. If this fight happens, it will be the most important American boxing match since Mayweather vs. Pacquiao. Only this time, the fighters are in their element, not past their peak. So I'll leave you with one question. Who wins? The legend with perfect timing or the young monster taking over the sport? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Fight Field. I'll catch you in the next video.